everything that we do as VAs, I think, you know, there's big debates out there about, does a VA need to know the hard skills or the technical skills of our job, like writing use cases, workflow diagrams? Yes, I believe that is very important. It's almost like a foundation. But what takes you to the next level is your relationship building. That if you build strong relationships, and if you're an advocate for the business, then that's going to separate you from the pack. Not that you can write the best use case diagram or the best workflow diagram. And I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best technical VA out there, but what I work hard on is my relationship building, and people want to work with me, right? It's fun to work, and we get things accomplished, and we do it together, where I'm an advocate for the business. So, and that's by taking Scott's approach. Now, I know, I would hope, does anyone actually do something like that? I'm almost afraid to ask, but I asked Scott. Oh, the PMs do it for you? Okay, so I think, you know, there's all the talks about IT needs to better partner with the business and stuff. Taking Scott's approach or something close to that is not working on that partnership. Taking Colette's, Mike, you gotta be smart about it. You can't say, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And then who do you piss off if you say yes? The developers, right? So that's your other stakeholders that you got to work on that relationship too. So you got to negotiate around that, kind of put it back on them almost to say, yeah, we can do it, but there's an impact to what's going on here. So you always have to kind of keep that conversation moving forward. And in improv, there's a technique, something that you practice to kind of get used to that, and it's called yes and. So if somebody, who's my first volunteer? All right, awesome, come on. I'm telling you, I was in Cincinnati last night doing this, and that was a tough crowd. That's definitely not the volunteer state. They did great, but it was a little tough getting, you raised your hand. Chad. All right. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm gonna get something from the crowd. I'm going to start the conversation with just one sentence. You then say yes, and then add on to that. And then I'll take that and say yes, and boom, goes back to you. You know, you got it?
I got it.
All right. All right, so somebody give me any topic that we can talk about. What's hot in Louisville besides the bats?
Oh, the stadium, the arena.
The arena. There's a new arena.
Yeah, traffic.
Oh. I'm from Atlanta, people.
Oh.
No, it's all relative. It's all relative. Yes. It takes me an hour to go, 10 miles. But okay, so, hey, did you hear about the new stadium that's opening up?
Yes, and can you believe the color that they're painting that bridge? That awful color yellow?
Yes, and my wife wanted my kids' room to be that color.
Yes, and now they're gonna and now I have to walk across this bridge every morning and in the afternoon, and I almost want to puke every time I see it.
Yes, and if I had to do that, I would quit my job.
Yes, and speaking of quitting jobs, there's this lady that we know. She's got 5 kids, and she just got a job the other day, and she quit it 2 weeks later.
Yes, and she's the same lady that complained about traffic all the time. So, all right, give Chad. All right, so to see, I mean, I didn't know where that conversation was going, and but you can tell, and you see Chad struggled a little there, right? Trying to think, that's not really how things are going to happen when you're in a elicitation session. But if you can practice that and think about that, to always keep that conversation moving forward and not kind of putting the hand up. So if you guys want to pair up, just try that for 30 seconds or so. So just try that out, the yes and. Oh, there you go. So the second piece is about, in improv, you have to be in the moment all the time, right? You don't know what the actor next to you is going to say, so you have to be listening, be a true active listener. Does everybody think they're like great active listeners?
Well,
No, sort of, right? I know, I'm not, right? It's difficult, right? We have a lot going on. Our society is set up for us not to be active listeners. So BlackBerry's going off, we're checking that. I was trying to look to see if anybody got on their BlackBerry while I was talking, but you guys did a pretty good job. I didn't.
My iPhone instead.
Or your iPhone, yeah, whatever, right? I mean, things are going off. Yeah, your Droid, your BlackBerry, your iPhone, whatever it is, are going off. You're thinking about your family. I got to take my kid here. I got to do this, and you're not really focusing on the thing at hand. So I want to. Where are my role play folks again? And Scott's going to play the good VA this time, just so you know. Just to show what a good elicitation session might look like and what a bad one would look like. And for this scene, I'm going to be the stakeholder going into the VA's office to have a discussion about some new requirements for a new project. Okay? Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's been a while since you yelled at me. So I'm over it. I'm over it. So I know we got to talk about, you invited me to this meeting to talk about the next release that we're going to do.
That's right. That's right. I need to know what kind of stuff that you want to put into this one.
Okay, so we're probably going to need, we got to enhance that, the login, so when people forget their password, we can give them that, they can click on something to get an updated password. The search feature has to have a little more advanced searching. There's like 5 or 6 fields I'm thinking about. That's pretty much it. That's all I want in this release.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Great.
Get that in.
All right, awesome. Good. Thank you, Scott. Good job. Now, that was a good VA. Good man. All right, now, the devil is here. All right. Hey, Colette, how you doing?
Hey, how
Good
are
to
you?
see you. Yeah, I'm ready to start on this next release. I'm excited. Everything's gone well with the last release. So you got any questions for me?
Oh, yeah, so what were you thinking?
I'm thinking, the two big things is kind of the login feature.
Joey, get the dog. Put your dad on the line. No, I'm going to leave. Bye. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right, yeah, so the login feature just needs to be enhanced. Kind of people, if they forget their password, they just need. All right, good job, Colette. Thank you. So, yeah, that was some extremes. So what'd you notice about Scott, the good VA? Paying attention, right? I mean, he was writing down notes and he was eye contact looking at me. What about the devil over here? Right. She really did. What was that?
She's turning it off.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, right. I mean, she was checking her phone and not paying attention at all. And your stakeholders know that, right? Even if you're busy, everyone knows we're busy, but if you're going to have a meeting with your stakeholders, then have a meeting with the stakeholder. Don't, if something does come up, reschedule. I know I was in a meeting a while back, and I threw people off because everybody in there, I'm with the stakeholders, it was a meeting for them to talk about requirements, and all 6 of them are checking their BlackBerries and not paying attention. I just packed my stuff up, and I said, okay, I guess we're going to have to meet some other time because you guys are obviously busy. Like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? I'm like, obviously, you don't have time to meet right now. There's some important stuff you're trying to respond to. And I walked out, and they were completely, shocked. Like, what are you doing? But I made a point, right? It was like, and I wouldn't recommend you do that unless you have some good relationships with the stakeholders, or they'll probably call your manager. But I had good relationships with them, but I wanted to make a point is that my time's valuable as a VA, and just like theirs is. And if they don't have the time to focus on what you're working on, then obviously it has to be rescheduled.